Why does almost every diet cause you to lose weight for a few weeks and then it stops? It's called metabolic adaptation. I'm going to share a story with you. About 15 years ago, I was asked to speak at Weight Watchers groups each week, and I owned gyms at that time. And so I would go into the group, and I remember I was just observing, and when someone would come in the first week of the program, they would have these weekly meetings, like accountability meetings, and they would go in and they all get in the scale in front of everybody, and people would cheer. No matter what happened, they would still cheer, which was nice. But what happens the first week, you lose like 3, maybe 5 pounds because it's the first week, water weight shifting, all these things are happening, and you're eating less. And so, yeah, you're going to lose weight. You're in a calorie deficit. You're burning off more calories, more fuel than you're ingesting. So that deficit has to come from stored fat or muscle. So keep that in mind. The second week, what would happen is they would lose less. So if they lost 3 pounds or 2 pounds the first week, they'd lose 1 or 2 pounds the second week. And these people tend to be very overweight, so they'll lose more weight at first than people that don't need to lose much weight. So the third week, they usually get stuck. So what's the advice? The advice at the place, and I'm not picking on them, I'm just saying this is how it works, is they said, okay, now reduce your calories. They call them points, I believe. And so now they're eating less food. And then they're going to say, hey, and start exercising, like start walking or something like that. And so now they're burning off even more calories. Now they'll come up, and then you can see the tension in their body. This is like clockwork. It's just a pattern. And they come in and they lost like half a pound, and they're kind of frustrated because they're not happy. They are miserable. This is someone just a few weeks ago was eating a normal amount of food that they felt good on. They didn't really think about that much. There's a lot of stress here. And these are humans with all kinds of things going on in their life. And so this just was not a sustainable approach. And then eventually what happens time after time is this person the body wants to protect itself. It wants to survive. And that's just not happening whenever you're restricting it that much. And so what happens is you get cravings, and then you go off track, you beat yourself up about it, you blame yourself, but that's the body protecting itself. It was a poor and ineffective strategy. It's not a sustainable strategy. And so then they feel guilty for a while, then eventually something inspires them again, hopefully, and then they try again, but hopefully something different. But if you keep trying the same thing and it doesn't work, you got to try something different. But if your goal, and everyone's goal should be this, for energy, vitality, it doesn't matter how you look, but you want to look good too, this is how you do it. You lose fat and you keep or add lean muscle tissue. Muscle is your metabolism. Muscle is the physical location of the body where fat is burned. It's also where energy is produced. So keep that in mind. So if you want to have more energy, you want to keep your muscle or add muscle. And as we age, it is even more important to have muscle. So after the age of 65, the third leading cause of death is called sarcopenia. That's a fancy way of saying muscle loss. Because if you don't use it, you lose it. So here are the fat loss principles. If you want to be toned, when people say toned, what they're saying is, I want to lose fat, but not muscle, so that I have those cool lines and definition. That's what they're saying. But these are the 3 things that must happen for you to transform your body, improve your body composition, your fat to muscle ratio. 1, you must be in a calorie deficit. So what are calories? Calories are the amount of food you ingest each day. It's like gallons of gasoline or liters of petrol if you're in Europe. It's the amount of fuel the body uses. It's how we measure the amount of fuel in food, calories. So that's why tracking food is important, at least for a period of time. And so that you understand what's in food. But if you're not losing weight, you're not in a calorie deficit. I can promise you that. That is called the first law of thermodynamics. It states that energy cannot be created nor destroyed, only change shape or form. So calories cannot be created or destroyed, they just change shape or form. So what that means is if you eat more calories than your body needs, it's not going to just disappear. It's going to be stored as fat. If you're doing resistance training, some of those extra calories can be turned into muscle though too. And so that leads us to the next thing. You must do resistance training, because resistance training will protect your muscle while you're in a calorie deficit. Study after study shows this. Now there's one other thing you need to protect that muscle is adequate daily protein intake. And I'm going to give you the range, minimum to optimal. So it's your body weight in pounds. And if you're used to kilograms, 1 pound is equal to 2.2 2.2 pounds equals 1 kilogram. Sorry, someone just knocked on the door and distracted me. And so your body weight in pounds times 0.64 is the minimum effective dose for daily protein intake. The optimal daily protein intake for losing fat and building muscle is 1 gram per pound of body weight. Make sense? So those are the 3 things. You must be in a calorie deficit. Number 2, you must do resistance training. Like we're doing it 3 times a week. We're training all your muscles 3 times a week with resistance or strength training, which they're the same thing. And you're challenging yourself and you're being consistent. If you don't use it, you lose it. And then you are getting adequate protein intake to not only speed metabolism, because it takes a lot of energy to break down protein, which is a good thing. It's called the thermic effect of food, if you're interested in knowing that. But it's also, muscle is made of protein. So we got to get those 3 things in. This is important, not just for the way you look in a mirror, but this is critically important for longevity. To be an athlete, you need muscle. Muscle is movement. And once you can't move, once you lose a certain amount of muscle, it is a terrible, slow decline. It happened to my mother over 15 years, and it was heartbreaking to see. And I won't go into it now, but I wish we could go back in time and that she would have reconsidered her choices, because it was completely avoidable. And that's why I do what I do, because if I can prevent one person, one family from going through that, it's worth all the work I put into. So keep that in mind. Now, if you hear this, and this is a strategy, you need 2 things in order to achieve anything in life. You need an effective plan, which I'm giving you the principles of an effective fat loss plan, right? But you also need a mindset to carry it through. And so if you don't have a mindset, you're not going to do the little things each day that get you the result, that give you the rewards. But what I've noticed in people that, I've been doing this for 30 years, 3 decades. What I've noticed, a pattern of people that are successful, that train for life and enjoy it, is they don't train to look a certain way. They train to feel good today. Because exercise has been shown to treat depression and anxiety. It's been shown to prevent 26 major diseases. So, but people that are focused on, hey, I want to feel good today so I can give my best and be my best, that is the pattern. So you want to have clarity of vision and purpose. And when you have clarity of what you are doing, why you want to do this, and really you're working towards something, it creates hunger and drive. And that gives you the focus to do the little things each day. All right, my friend, remember, you were born a lion, not a lamb. Let's do this.
You tap into the real you, but you have to retrain yourself. The way you retrain yourself is you wake your ass up in the morning and you say, I am here for a reason and a purpose. And it's bigger than my moods. It's bigger than the difficulties of the day. I am here to live like a lion, not the fear of a lamb.